Well, good morning and happy Friday to you as you are getting up, or maybe you are getting ready to head out of the house. Hopefully, you can stay with us for the majority of the show, but if you do have to head off, it's the beauty of streaming. Again, you can come back to the show a little bit later on. Time to get you caught up on what's happening. We like to do a little news you can use, some weather as well from right here and across the country, because let's be real, which is what the show's all about, right? Live moves fast, headlines move faster. If you blink, you might miss something that actually impacts your day-to-day life. And here in St. Louis, we blink and we go from 90 something to 50s. Today, we're breaking it all down for you, national and regional and local. So you feel informed, right? We want you to get empowered and we want you to take on your day. So we're going to give you some national stories. We'll give you some regional stories and then stories right here at home. I want to know, did you go to the home opener yesterday? Did you go to the Cardinals game? Let me know that. Our feature of today has to do with powering through. And I will tell you, I almost didn't do the show today. You might be able to hear it in me a little bit. Feeling a little under the weather. And unfortunately, Beckett Moore, who was going to join us and give us your weather, he wrote me just about 5 minutes ago and said that they have a Wi-Fi issue because of the storms, most likely, taking that down overnight. So, did you get any sleep? Did you wake up? Did the dogs wake up? Did your kiddos wake up? Are they jumping in bed with you? Let me know as you're starting the day. Let's talk about the weather. So, we have been having storms overnight, and they're continuing into this morning. Some of you still may have some rain. So, into pretty much 53 for our high after, as I said, coming off the 90s yesterday. Breezy today as well, down to 31 tonight. Tomorrow, 57, and then we get to 42 in the evening. Sunday, 71, down to 58, and you can see the Cardinals are in action all the way through Wednesday. 84 degrees by the time we get into the kickoff of next week for Monday, and then on Tuesday, 87. We've got storms possible pretty much from Tuesday all the way through Sunday in the forecast for right now. We go into midweek, 75, Thursday, 67, Friday's high, 69, and into the following weekend, we'll be in the low 70s, and then on Sunday, 64. Again, the following Sunday. So we do have a wet pattern that is expected, but again, we're into spring, so you would expect that. And also, you're probably sounding like this. Are some of you dealing with allergies? Or are we dealing with something different? Let's get into what we consider to be news you can use. So this is our news alert of the day. We're going to start off with Meta and YouTube facing a lawsuit because of negligence in a landmark social media addiction lawsuit. Thought this was really interesting. The jury in this lawsuit against social media companies ruled in favor of the plaintiffs, holding Meta and YouTube liable for $3 million in damages. The case is known as CCP 5255, initially filed back in 2023 and was tried at the Spring Street Courthouse in Los Angeles. It revolved around a now 20-year-old woman known in legal filings only as KGM and her mother Karen, who alleged that KGM's social media use, which began when she was 10, led to dangerous dependency on the social media company's products: anxiety, depression, self-harm, body dysmorphia. The jury in the case said that both Meta and YouTube knew the designs of their platforms were dangerous and that users wouldn't realize the danger, that the companies failed to warn of the danger when a reasonable platform would have. The verdict is bigger than one case, the plaintiff's lead counsel said in a statement following those results. I thought this was huge. And again, I know there's a lot of people who are probably looking at this going, are you kidding me? That like they actually won? But how many of you would agree with that mom saying that it is an addiction standpoint? I mean, again, people wake up in the morning, they grab that phone and they just start scrolling away, scrolling away, scrolling away. And then suddenly hours have gone by and it has sucked you in. And they knew it. So there needs to be a warning, I guess, kind of like you have on cigarettes, like you have on alcohol. What do you think about that? And again, I love for you to weigh in. Here's one. New COVID variant has been identified, and it's spreading around at least 25 states. This is a story I actually pulled up for you on Wednesday when I had to cancel Thursday morning because my throat was bothering me. Now I find it to be kind of interesting. It's spreading across the U.S., right here in Missouri as well. So those 25 states include Missouri and Illinois, as well as California, Connecticut, Florida, Hawaii, Idaho. I can go on and on and on. 25 different states. Still, the consequences of this evasive variant largely remain to be seen. BA 3.2 isn't one of the dominant COVID variants in the U.S., but other offshoots are, according to a CDC tracker. Reported cases have not been more severe than other infections, however. And they're saying that if you did get the vaccine, that this new variant may be able to evade the protection from the current vaccine. So tell me, because I saw a lot of you commenting the other day when I said, hey, I don't think I'm going to be able to come on. My throat's, bothering me. It's killing me, because we had done 2 shows, and then we were going to do 2 shows again. Saw one lady say, I hope it's just that you need rest and, that your throat is sore from doing all the shows. Hopefully it's not a virus. Yeah. Don't know. My husband actually said, Monica, I think you have that. So, as I heard somebody say, one of my videographers, he was like, oh, like it's another case of the flu. Really, that's truly where we're all, look, it's going to be around. And you got vaccines. Do you get another one? I'm not a big fan of vaccines for myself or animals. There's some that I think we need and others that we don't. What are your thoughts on this? Julie, parents need to monitor the children. It has to do with the addiction, right? Freezing tomorrow morning? Wow, Pete said. I know. This is St. Louis. Crazy weather. Good morning, Julie. Denise McCarthy, good morning to you. You slept through it, Christy, huh? Oh my gosh. Happy Friday, Pete. Hope you're having a good start. Good morning, Stephanie. Linda, good morning to you. Sean, good morning. Hope you're having a great start. Thank God it's Friday, we're saying. I had the worst sore throat of my life when I had COVID, Christy said. How long ago was that? Which variant was that? Because again, there's so many out there. That's the thing. So we're running through what we consider to be some news you can use. Now, I saw this one on Yahoo and on USA Today. Do you know what they're saying is going to take place tomorrow? And it's so frustrating. I don't know. Again, you can weigh in wherever you want, and we're not going to get into arguments, but protest, protest, protest. If you stay off the streets, it's one thing. You have the right to your speech. When you start to disrupt people's lives and get into the point of shutting down highways, that's where I don't agree with that at all. So I hope that we don't see any violence this weekend. But they're talking about these No Kings protests. Have you heard this? They're expecting it to be the largest ever, with more than 3,100 events planned nationwide. Organizers expect the No Kings protest to draw millions of Americans into the streets, and this is expected to take place tomorrow. So I did a little digging into St. Louis, and they're saying the protest with the largest turnout is expected this year. Not even familiar with this. Aloe Plaza near St. Louis City Hall. Over a dozen protests are slated. And again, we had some protests like this before. Now they're expecting this to be the biggest ever. Do you know about this? Are you aware of it? I give you news you can use to make you aware. So if you are heading in to the downtown area, again, Aloe Plaza, which is 1820 Market Street, and it's supposed to be from 1 to 1:30 is a rally, and then they're going to do the protest. So some advice to you to stay away from the area if you don't want to get, shut down. March 28th, again, No Kings protest. Don't know, again, how many people are expected to come out, but there are multiple planned protests taking place across the metro, and many people are putting out there, hey, here's where it's going to be, here's where you can, here's where you can join in on that. Tell me, because again, we used to cover these when I was in the news, what are your thoughts on these protests? Are you willing to be real and talk? I told you my feelings on it. Again, I have no problem when people go and they want to speak how they feel. In a grassy area, in a parking lot where you're not shutting down. I get it. People want to protest because they want to do this. They want to shut down the streets, and they want to disrupt your life because the mindset is always, if we don't make you feel uncomfortable, then you're not going to listen. What are your thoughts on all that? Love that. News you can use. You're welcome, Heidi. That's the thing. We're not going to get into all the negativity of the world and the shootings and all of that. I don't understand how that serves any of you, so we pull in news you can use. Again, the fact that there's another strain of COVID out there, just to be aware. I don't know. I mean, what are you going to do with that news, though? Are you going to not go out? Are you going to wear a mask? I'm going to do all I can to now say, all right, maybe we need to stay away. I really did think that my voice was just strained and was feeling fine. I almost, like I said, didn't get up today. If this is, in fact, that next variant, I can tell you it's a sore throat. And yes, Christy, if it's the same that you had, I mean, it was inconvenient for a night, and then now it's, as you can hear, in here. I don't want to, spread it to other people, so it's me choosing to say, all right, maybe I stay home. I am drinking throat coat, by the way. Pete says agreed, stay out of the street, and don't destroy anything. Exactly, and don't disrupt. The problem is you are already strained on the St. Louis police in the city. with regards to how many police officers we have. Then those officers are going to have to come out. They're going to be shorthanded. And unfortunately, usually things happen to them, as I unfortunately know, being the wife of a lieutenant. Speak, but don't interfere with our everyday life. I won't go near that area. No vaccines. I know. And so we're weighing in on what we feel about different things. And I want to hear from you. Again, it's not that we all are in agreement, but we all listen to each other. So if you're in favor of the protest, please let me hear from you. If you're in favor of vaccines, again, I want to see people's viewpoints on different things. So let's start big picture, okay? So what's happening across the United States right now? Washington continues to focus on spending, on budgets, where taxpayer dollars are going. These conversations may feel distant, but they affect everything from interest rates to programs that we rely on daily. Obviously, we've been seeing the spike at the gas stations, and that's going to stick around for a while. Grocery prices going higher as well. Economy, let's talk about what everyone's feeling, the cost of living. You want to weigh in on it? Inflation has slowed a bit, but groceries, housing, insurance, well, still high. So if you've walked out of the store lately like, how in the heck did I spend that much? You're not alone. That is what we're feeling. Technology also pretty big. There's AI, artificial intelligence, changing everything. What are your viewpoints on AI? Do you think it's a good thing? Have you started in the last year? Because we addressed AI about a year and a half ago. And a lot of people at the time were like, I don't understand it. I'm nervous about it. I'll let it play out. Well, we've let it play out now for about a year and a half. What are your viewpoints on AI? Jobs, schools, businesses, even how we communicate? The big question right now is, are we in control of it, or is it starting to control us? Where do you see AI in the next, 3, 5, 10 years? How about this? Weigh in. Tell me wherever you work, are you seeing it used a little, somewhat, a lot? Can you say that? A little, somewhat, a lot. Just put those words in for me. Of course, the weather continues to be a major story, from storms to unusual temperature swings like we just saw in the 90s down into the 50s. And as Pete said, holy cow, like freezing weather. We're seeing more extremes, and that's something to keep an eye on as we head into spring and summer. If you are planting, I've been mentioning this for all you gardeners out there. I think you already kind of know this, that you say, well, we need to hold off because, as you saw with the weather, you could have frost conditions again. We've had snow on Easter before. So yeah, down to 31 tonight. So we're below freezing. So if you are starting to think of putting those bulbs and stuff out there, you might want to rethink that. Maybe get a little bit later into April. My mom says to wait until May, like the Mother's Day time period. So let me know. Good morning, Karen. Hope you're having a great start. Susan, good morning to you. Hope you're having a good morning. Richard said, I love AI. Okay, why? Why is that? Linda says, I agree. I have no problems with protests as long as they stay in their own space and don't close down streets and don't be destructive. I really don't follow any of that news. I love that I live in the country and in the woods. I'm in my own little world most of the time. Yep, I get that. Again, wanting you to weigh in on the different things that we're running through for you. Mary, somewhat. I like what we're doing with it, assisting the process, but not taking away the human input. Yes, so I have seen, again, in the last, I'd say probably 6 months or so, the benefits of AI. I will say, from not having an executive assistant anymore like I used to, it has very much helped me, as I used to type up all my descriptions, like full-on descriptions, and have to put them on multiple sources. It's now helped me with that. I obviously give it my feel, and then it kind of buttons it up a little bit. From thumbnails that I have to use on YouTube and on Rumble, it's really helped. I mean, how quickly it's able to do that is crazy. Now, some people may weigh in and say that's taking away jobs. Okay, Christy says, AI makes me nervous. I see it being used a lot, and I fear people being replaced by bots. Okay, there we go. You are having fun with it. I do have fun with it. I do. Again, but I understand the nervous side of it all, of where is it going, and again, like I said, where people are thinking about it from a job standpoint. I will say there's a lot of people that are using ChatGPT. They use like Sorrow to come up with different videos and things like that in their social media. For that, I don't have a problem with it. But like I said, do I think it could get dangerous? Yes. Do I think it's crazy that we have cars driving around without any people that are driving, actually driving? I think that's nuts. I don't know where it's going. Let's bring it a little closer to home right now, right here in the Midwest, right? Missouri and Illinois seeing major investments in roads and highways and transportation. I also saw something that says we're a little bit closer to a new terminal, which we've been talking about forever at Lambert Airport. Have you flown, by the way, lately? And if you are, let's say this again, right? The news you can use aspect. If you are flying, understand that there are more and more TSA agents that are not coming to work because, again, they were working without any pay. And then agents came in to try to help that subside, but still creating problems. So check with your carrier, not to the airport. If you are flying out today, heading out for the weekend, maybe a weekend trip, or you're flying out to, some beautiful place to go on a vacation, remember, long lines are out there. We're just trying to stress to you, if you normally do the 2 hour before for a domestic flight, 3 hour before for an international flight, I would highly recommend you tack on more time. And if you're driving this weekend through downtown St. Louis, give yourself more time because of the protest. Not sure what's going to happen. Again, we're going to talk about some good news long term, even if it means a few orange cones and detours in the short term. The highways, the road improvements, the transportation. I know people get frustrated when they get rerouted around different things, but that is progress. So I saw a lot of that when we went to do our show live the other day. Hopefully you all saw that. We did our show from Exist Stretch on Hampton for their big grand opening, and we were alerted by the team there that they were like, they're doing a bunch of construction. I was like, it's okay. That's progress, right? That's the way we look at life. Midwest continuing to grow in manufacturing and healthcare and logistics. But small businesses, well, they're still navigating rising cost, finding workers. It's a balancing act right now. I want to give that progress report that says, people are wanting to work again. Because for the longest time over the last few years, you couldn't find workers, right? If you own a business, are you struggling with that? For me, I am so blessed. And I want to knock on wood right now. I am so blessed that I have had interns and my employees that absolutely show up. Susan, AI can be used for good or evil. Hopefully we'll keep it in the good and useful side, she says. Mary, mom is right. Plant at Mother's Day. Mom knows best. Exactly. Karen, never plan till May 1st. There we go. Rose, Monica, do you have a full plate today or do you get to rest? Rose, thank you for asking. I will rest as much as I can after the show. Probably going to lay back down for a bit. And then I will say this. Christy, by the way, I want to thank you for introducing me to Positive Veterinary Services. We're going to be taking Tessa over. So for those of you that have dogs, have you ever had a dog that just shook their head like crazy or scratched or maybe even had a bug bite and then they had that cauliflower ear? Because that's what Tessa's looks like. And no matter what, I gave her a little Benadryl, try to get her to stop itching. We actually have her on pills that she takes every day because that poor dog is allergic to everything. I swear, like environment and food. So we find things that we know that she can have on this long list of what she has from an allergy standpoint. But her ear is full. And, again, it's kind of like WebMDing things. I looked into it of what I think is going on. I believe it's an oral hematoma, which I think they're going to have to drain it. I hope she's not going to have surgery. My friend Sherry, that happened to her dog, and I think they couldn't fix it, and it's permanently down. But I just want to make sure she's not in pain. So we're taking her, by the way, Christy, we are going over there today, looking forward to meeting them. Christy said, in my experience, AI has not decreased our work. It's just shuffled the tasks around, okay? As you're tuning in this morning, we're going through a little news you can use, and I want you to weigh in on it. Again, talking about local, regional, national stories. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening right here in St. Louis. Public safety. Continued focus on improving safety in our communities with conversations around prevention, youth programs, stronger community connections. We started a segment on Tuesdays called Testament Tuesday, and I really want to get the youth involved more from some of the youth church groups that are going on and bringing in different religions and faith mindset and spirituality. Again, I want to have someone each week that pushes the envelope and makes us think another way. So if you know someone, by the way, that you would like for us to have on the show, a guest, you've got a topic that you think that we should cover, again, please shoot me a message it is info at therealmonicaadams.com. So keep an eye on the crawl throughout the screen. We give you some things that are coming up on the show. We do a little thank you to our sponsors, which again, we couldn't do it without them and without you. So yeah, let me know if you have an idea for something for a Medical Monday, for a Testament Tuesday, for a Wellness or a Workout Wednesday, an idea for Wet Your Whistle, which next Wednesday I'm going to be with Michelle, my dear friend. We're going to be making Mai Tais as we talk about her Hawaii trip that she just came back from. You've been keeping an eye on Hawaii, by the way, the crazy weather. It's like some of the craziest weather they've seen in almost a decade. The wind and the rain that they're seeing is just, again, not what you would expect when you think you're going to the Garden State and expect it to be just beautiful. So she'll tell us about that trip. Transformation Thursdays or Positive Talk Time. We're going to be back with Yuppie Puppies Forever Rescue very soon. Coming up in the middle of April, we'll be back with Jessica Cook. We've missed her, haven't we? Fridays, Foodie Fridays, fitness, fashion, Fabulous Fox, all these things that we are going to be including for you. And then, of course, we talk a little bit about the medical side, menopause, andropause, many things that we discuss on the show. So if you're new to the show and you're wondering, so what's the show all about? Again, news you can use, a little sports news. Let's get into that, by the way. Any of you go to the home opener yesterday? And hey, how about that? What a great way to start the season. They beat Tampa Bay. The final was 9-7. They take on the Rays at 1:15. And the Rays and Cardinals continuing into Sunday. So, yeah, if you are a Cardinals baseball fan, hopefully everybody will come back because I know everybody was a little frustrated with them at the end of last season. I love that I can give you good news in baseball and in hockey as well. The Blues beat San Jose. That final was 2-1, and they now are on tap taking on the Maple Leafs. That'll be a 6 o'clock game taking place tomorrow. National Day of Calendar, by the way. It's Scribble Day. Let the kids scribble on the wall. National Spanish Paella Day. It is National Joe Day. Do I have any Joes that are watching? Joe, I know, is it Joe Mew? Or I believe is his name. Joe sometimes watches the show. So it's your day, and anybody else that has the name Joe, it's your day today. Hopefully you have a good one. One of my favorite parts, events. Back in full swing. Festivals and concerts, community gatherings. It's a time of year where St. Louis really comes alive. Are there any concerts coming up that you're super excited about? We're seeing incredible stories from local schools and organizations, people stepping up, the community stepping up, supporting each other, which is what we absolutely love, building something better together. So let's do this as I get ready to take our break. Is the cost of living the biggest stress right now for you? This is where I really want to get it interactive. So I'm going to give you 3 things. And as we break, I want you to type in for me. Is the cost of living the biggest stressor in your mind right now? Are we ready for how fast technology is changing as you're weighing in on AI? What does St. Louis need most right now? Growth, safety, or opportunity? Okay, so one more time. You can actually, if you want to, you can weigh in on all of them. But is the cost of living stressing you out right now? Are you ready for how fast the technology is changing? Or are you wanting to stay over here when everybody else is jumping on board? And from those that are in our local area, and if you're not, go ahead and tell me where you're watching from, because let's include your city and state. What does your city, we're going to say St. Louis, need most right now? Do we need more growth? Do we need more safety? Or do we need more opportunity? Weigh in on all of that for me, and then we're going to get into powering through. Again, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing when you go to try to power through? Again, today I felt like I was powering through, but see, I'm up. I feel better. It's probably better than all that draining into me, right? So sometimes we just got to power through. Is it a good thing? We'll talk about it.
What if you could start your day feeling loose, relaxed, and ready? Deep hydrotherapy right in your backyard. Relax with your family or friends, or work out with our Michael Phelps Edition Swim Spas. Worried about maintenance? We have factory-trained service nearby whenever you need it. Plus, we're here for you long-term if you have any questions or need to refill supplies. You can even test spas at our showrooms. Spas and More, A+ rated, locally owned for 20 years. We put the ah in spa.
Well, welcome back. As you can see, we are on YouTube. We are on multiple platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Instagram. So thank you for tuning in on whatever platform makes the most sense for you. And if you didn't know we were on all of those, go ahead and tell your family and friends that don't want to be maybe on social media. It's best for them to go over and look at our library of shows on YouTube. So yes, 780 plus shows that we've done, maybe even more than that. I stopped counting, but I know coming up in about the end of October, probably mid-November, we are talking about celebrating 1,000 shows with all of you Monica's Maniacs. That's what you call yourselves, and I love it as you are diehards waking up every morning, grabbing your coffee or tea. And by the way, as I talk about Tessa, I didn't even realize I grabbed this. Look at that sweet baby over the years. And look at her when she was just a little puppy. So taking care of the doggy today, and thank you, Christy, as I said, for introducing me to the wonderful doctors, because it looks like a great place. We're talking about a little positivity, and once again, if you've been wondering, when are we back with the incredible Jessica Cook? It is the middle of April, the second week, I believe, on that Thursday is when she'll be back with us, and that'll be a once-a-month segment that we're going to do with her. So what else would you like me to put in those positive talk time segments? Is there a sponsor that you think would be a great fit for us? If so, again, remember, I reward you $100 to you if someone that you introduce us to becomes a sponsor or books us for a mobile Monica. If you don't want to know what a mobile Monica is, it's when we do these shows live on location. And we just did two this past Wednesday. We were at Mary Tuttle's. Thank you, Angela. What a great show that was. Did you see it? Have you been in yet? If not, get in there. Again, if you couldn't come the day of the show, it's always about supporting those that support us. And again, whether it's before or after the show, just please do so. Go in and tell them thank you. Exist Stretch, of course, had us for their big grand opening. Love that. That was so much fun, and the community came out big time. And then our next one is next Thursday. We're going to be at Midwest Thermography with April. She is the owner. We did a really great show with her just a few weeks ago talking about thermography, and I want you to bring your questions, because this is something I want you to know, that you have a choice when it comes to your health and the medical side of it all. If you want to do a mammogram, go do a mammogram, but know that you don't have to. If you're worried about the radiation, which a lot of women have a tendency to be, thermography and ultrasound, good options. So we're going to introduce you to Midwest Thermography coming up next Thursday. Looking forward to that. All right, let's see. Christy said, in my experience, AI has not decreased our work. It's just shuffled the task around. Love Positive Veterinary Care. They're in Arnold, by the way. They are awesome. I was there yesterday. They will take wonderful care of Tessa. I know. When used as a sparring partner, it is amazing. However, look at how Spell Checker has removed our ability to spell words. This has sparring partner. Okay, Joe. Oh, look at that. Joe is on. Yay for my day, he says. Christy, if you see Dr. Della Camera, tell her I said hi. Am I pronouncing it? I'm probably not pronouncing it right. Della Camera? I don't know how to pronounce her name, but yes, I think that is who we're seeing. Linda, you are correct. Sometimes Siri doesn't spell correctly or uses the wrong words or grammar. She's not always smart. Cost of living is stressful, Christy says. St. Louis needs more safety. Okay. Pete, COL is major. However, world events are very stressful too. Colorado, is this Colorado you're saying? St. Louis needs more safety. The growth will follow thereafter. 1,000 shows. Cool beans. Yes, thanks. Linda, cost of living is very stressful, especially for seniors on a fixed income. The cost of drugs versus the cost of food for some. How sad. Okay, Rose says biggest stress. Hubby said adult kids. I feel the stress with food and retail prices and gas. Seniors and their medicines. Okay, weigh in. What are your biggest stressors right now? Again, in your own life. Let me know that. Okay, again, cost of living. Is that the biggest stress right now? Are we ready for how fast technology is changing? Jump on board. And St. Louis, what do you need most? Do you need growth? Do you need safety? Do you need opportunity? I think it's safety. My texts are going crazy. Hello, Jenny and Sally, who are texting me back and forth. I'm doing a show. Holy cow, guys, enough. All right, I want to hear from you. Drop in the comments. Which story that we've done so far impacts your life the most? And by the way, what do you want me to cover more of? Because I love the lady that said earlier, oh my gosh, news you can use. I love that idea. Yeah, we started that, I don't know, about a year and a half or so ago. You know, coming from a news background, it was, what is best for you that I can wake you up to, that you say, okay, I needed to know that. And what do you not want to know? All right. What do you want more of and what do you want less of? Because again, this show is about real life. It's a show for you, real conversations, for us to stay connected. I just want you to stay informed, stay engaged, most importantly, stay empowered and feel the community that we have built for you. That's what's important for me. All right. So hopefully you've gotten what you needed from the major information that's out there. Now we're going to, cost of living, Pete. I was like, is this Colorado? See, I'm not with it right now. Still with a smile on my face. Let me get into, as we get into our 7:30 time frame in our last half hour of the show, it's this. Does this look like you? Yeah. That's how I have felt. Does this look like you? Maybe the young moms on the phone, babies crying, stressed out to the max. Do you need a little more of this? I mean, look, when you look at that, do you feel calm? I mean, my breathing changed. It's just this serenity, right? Meditation, prayer, a little yoga. Need a little bit more of that. I was supposed to go hiking with those that were texting me like crazy. And I said, you know what? We probably should wait for another day because it doesn't seem like hiking weather. And then my friend Sally said, what about yoga? I think that sounds great, but I'm making the smart choice to say, I say we pick a different day because, as you can hear, I'm not feeling my best. And so I don't really think I should be getting around that many people. We want more of this, right? Powering through. We want to run. We want to be energetic. Are we running low on battery, though? Is that how you feel? Do you want a little more of balance? The yin yang of life? Are you driving? Are you even in the driver's seat? Or do you feel like you're in the passenger seat? Or do you feel like you're about ready to crash and trying to figure out which path do you take? I mean, yeah, that sun straight ahead looks gorgeous, but are you going to the left? Are you going to the right? Where are you going? Are you lost? Tell me how you're feeling. Again, with all the stuff that's going on in the world, do you feel a little chaotic? And then do you feel like you have to show up for everyone? Again, you guys all might be like, Monica, this is literally what you're doing today. I know, but there's a part of me that if I didn't come on to you today, that I felt bad because, again, didn't do the show the other day because my throat was bothering me. And then I decided today, get up. You'll probably feel better than lying down with it all draining, whatever this is that I have. So, yeah, I mean, I sound a little off, but this is me. This is what I do. Are you the same way? If I was going out in the corporate world, I still think I would have gotten up. I mean, I don't know if that is something that was instilled in me when I was younger. Probably. If my mom was watching, I'd have to ask her, like, no matter what, if we weren't running a fever, we were going to school. And then it was taught by my mom and dad, power through, give 100%. One of the 4 agreements talks about always doing your best. And if you're not familiar with the book, The 4 Agreements, look it up. It is Don Miguel Ruiz. Wonderful book. And I live by the mantra of always do your best. Now, again, I'm giving you my all today. I sound a little off. But would you have wanted me not to come on? Because here, let me ask this. If you are feeling the way I am today, which is nasally, sore throat's gone. I just took some Dayquil, which I think is what's probably keeping me in a little bit of a happier mindset. Would you go to work? If you work from home, would you actually work or would you lie back down? What do you do when you are feeling off? Do you power through? Because that's the question right now. Pete says overnight news you could use, followed by St. Louis regional news you could use, then the theme of the day. Like it. Upcoming events and hikes, etc. You want some of those? Okay. Cost of living, trying to balance my budget. We need more laughing and being happy. Yeah. The title of the book, Pete, it is The 4 Agreements. The author, Don Miguel Ruiz. It is something that I have used in life coaching, in my personal training. It is a book that I think you read through because it's a very easy read. Put it on the shelf. And then when you need to go back and be reminded of which agreement you feel like you're failing. I hate to use the word failing. Which agreement you feel like you have kind of not honored yourself with the most. And if you do know the book, which agreement resonates with you most? And which one do you feel you fall short on? Always doing your best. Be impeccable with your word. That's the one that I think as human beings, we can sometimes struggle with because we're human. It's like a reaction right away. I wish I could take those words back. Don't take things personally. I will tell you from every woman I've ever coached, that's the one that they say they have a hard time with, right? They hear something is said, they take it the wrong way, and they're like, why did I take it like that? So it's a good one. So Christy says, I work from home, so I power through. Linda, I power through when I'm not feeling well. However, I will stay home. What you're doing right now is great. You're up, taking care of yourself, but staying home and not spreading germs. Pete says, thanks. I will search for it on Amazon. You're welcome. Absolutely. Any of you read that book, by the way? It is a really good, I think it's more of a resource book. Again, like I said, going back to it, pulling it back. If you haven't read it in a while, read through again. But many times people like to just go back to the one that they feel they're not doing their best, and which might fall into the always do your best mentality. I use the always do your best mindset of yesterday, or actually more so 2 days ago, when I didn't have this junk in me, I was at 100%. I will give 100% in work, in relationships. And then when you don't feel your best, you still give your all. That still means it's your 100%, even though you don't feel 100%. Does that make sense to you? You just always give somebody your best in life, in work, in relationships, and that's all anybody can ever ask for you. So the powering through mentality, again, it's interesting that this was a show that I put together the other day, and now it's really hitting home, as I had mentioned. The first thing I said when you all were saying good morning, I'm like, boy, does this one hit home today. A fantastic fitness mindset. And when we talk about fitness, it's also the mindset fitness, because powering through is something almost everyone prides themselves on, but we rarely question it. So as we go through this here in the next 25 minutes, I want you to listen and then comment for me. So it often looks admirable on the outside, right? Let's go through these. Showing up even when you're exhausted. Ignoring pain, ignoring stress, or emotional overwhelm. But what happens when all that mounts and all that builds up? You explode, right? Saying yes when your plate's already full. Pushing harder in workouts despite the fatigue. Look, a lot of people like to say, oh, I'm going to do an hour workout, and then they get mad at themselves. Actually have a woman that I'm coaching right now that said, yeah, I felt bad I could only do 30 minutes. And I was like, only? You did 30 minutes. That's more than a lot of people who just sit around or can't get in. So there's a reason why a lot of personal trainers have broken up those workouts into 20, 20, 20. If you can get a full hour in broken up into 3 20-minute segments, guess what? Do you feel fulfilled? I hope so, because you've gotten in. It doesn't matter how you do it. And again, if you're out and you're like these wonderful people that are running and hiking and they're going to go ahead and go out even though it was rainy and all muddy, they're powering through. Are they going to hurt themselves? Is it better to wait for something like this? The sun shining, grounding yourself, getting that mat out, doing a little yoga, calming yourself. Do you feel like the push, push, push mentality is best for you? Or when I show those images, does it look like, yeah, I need a little more of that slowing down, right? So maybe it's not the push, 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 and never having a release. The release is needed. That's where the recovery takes place. So being the strong one, is that you? Are you the strong one for everyone else, and then you always feel left out, like no one's ever there for you? So again, is this hitting home? If so, say yes to me. Are you the strong one, or feeling like you have to be there for everyone else and no one's ever there for you, right? It's discipline, it's drive, it's grit. Is that some of the words that you use? It can also, though, be burnout in disguise, folks. Disconnection from your body, your mind, your spirit. Emotional suppression. Running on empty when you're appearing strong. So when I brought this image up, do you feel like this? Yeah, low battery. Again, when you see that on your phone, what do? You plug your phone in and you get recharged. And then you're back with the technology world. But what about if that's you? That's your body. What do? Do you hopefully fuel up? Are you drinking water? Or I drink my herbal tea? Or are you always reaching for caffeine because you're running on empty and you need that unnatural jolt? So too much caffeine, not good for the heart, right? So a little bit of it is fine. There's research that shows that, what we were used to say that coffee was not good for us. Now there's again, every time I turn around, it's something like the eggs are good, then the eggs are bad. Coffee's good, and then coffee's bad. It's like, just wait for a few months, and then there's a new thing out there. So you just got to find what works for you. But my mindset is constant coffee, constant, sodas, all the sugar and the caffeine that are in those, or those energy drinks. I can't imagine long-term that those are good for the heart from a cardiovascular standpoint. That was the major change with P90X3, Pete said. 25 to 30-minute workouts. Yeah, Tony was brilliant on that. Rose, when I worked, I always went in. I had to be really bad not to go in. Yeah, for us, it was the same way. It was a fever that would make you stay home. Dad taught us work ethics. Yeah, you're awesome for coming on. Being a people pleaser can be exhausting. You taught my friends and I it's okay to say no sometimes. It absolutely is. We need to learn the no and the yes and the appropriate times for both. Remember, when you say no, you're setting boundaries. When you say yes, it might be in an uncomfortable situation where you say, I'm going to say yes to this. The old me would not have done that, right? Sometimes you have to push through. Sometimes you don't. Depends on the task. All right. Jody, absolutely, Monica. I was running at 110% when I was on 3% battery for a few years. My body woke me up. I'm recharging now. So he felt this in his life. Again, that image hits home with so many people. And Jody, by the way, I'm so glad. Jody reached out to me and said, Monica, who should I go to? He said, I feel like a 99-year-old man in a 55-year-old body. So again, we just had Dr. John Arshadi on from Divine Longevity and Wellness. And I said, hey, why don't you call him? And I think he's brilliant. If you didn't see his show, this is the reason I tell you to follow me on all the social media channels. YouTube would be a good one to go back to that library, and you can see that show. I'm so glad, Jody, that you went over to him. I've got a few others that have called. I just went over and had my blood work, and I'm always very real with you. I loved the report. I was hoping for the report he gave me. He's like, Monica, a perfectly healthy young lady. He's like, vitamin D, maybe a little bit low, but isn't that for everybody? We just came off of winter. I've been taking vitamin D every morning, but we probably can't take enough and until we get into obviously sunnier days. And so, look, we're going to have a little bit more of this spring, summer, sunshine that allows us to get out and get our vitamin D, which is absolutely needed. So again, if you're just tuning in, the topic of the day in this last 10 minutes has been powering through, but it can be burnout in disguise, disconnection from your body, emotional suppression, running on empty when you're trying to appear strong. And again, isn't that just a mask? It's a mask. I would rather you say, I need help. Can somebody do this for me? And then you return that help, obviously, when they need it, right? So is powering through a good thing? Well, let's go into the category when it is. When it helps you, okay? Finishing a tough workout that you committed to. Getting through a short-term challenge. And I said short-term so that it doesn't continue to create problems in the long term. Building discipline and resilience. We do need to learn those things. And then honoring a promise to yourself. So as you're journaling, and I hope you are, you make a promise to yourself to do one small thing that attaches to you. And then you're like, okay, good. 2 weeks, 3 weeks have gone by. I formed a good habit. Let me add another one to it. So you're honoring that. Honor that to yourself. This is intentional pushing. You're aware, you're in control, and it has a purpose. But this is when powering through can hurt you. Ignoring chronic fatigue or pain. Trust me on this. If this continued to stay in me for the next, 2, 3, 4 weeks and beyond, well, I wouldn't ignore that. This isn't normal. This isn't how I want to be, running around in life. And I would have to take a step back and say, this is probably not smart for me to continue to do. So what do I need to do? Rose asked earlier, do I just relax today? Do I get a chance to rest? Yes, that is my plan. Again, drinking a little bit more tea, sitting down, doing a little journaling. I truly believe that when we get sick or we get run down, that it is, if you're a faith-based person, I think it's God's way of saying slow down. Don't continue to power through. Love the tea. Hey, Jody, you want to give them a shout out, by the way? I'll give you a shout out. Do you want to tell everybody about your wonderful teas and where we can get them? I'm on week 2. He is great, and I'm feeling better. I love it. Jody, you're very, very welcome. So Jody and I have known each other since I was in grade school. We just recently were able to come back together, and he was at the Tea Spout where we did one of our mobile Monicas. He's got his tea there. Tell everybody the name of it. So just giving you a little plug here. So again, when does powering through hurt us? Ignoring chronic fatigue and pain, never allowing rest or recovery. Ever. Like you just go, go, go. Trust me, you do that day in and day out. You're trying to go on 3, 4, 5 hours of sleep instead of 6, 7, 8 or more, and it's going to catch up with you. And maybe maybe that was me. For me, I've been taking my supplements, trying to get as much rest. Looking at my watch telling me I had 21 sleep score the other day was not good. Now it's back to 89, 90. I mean, those are the good things. Do you feel resentful or overwhelmed, or are you even numb, like paralyzed to the world? Are you tying your worth to productivity? This becomes survival mode, folks. Long term, it costs you your health. All right, I'm going to say that one more time. This becomes survival mode, and this is when it hurts you, but long term, it will cost you your health, guaranteed. So instead of asking, how can I push harder, I want you to do a shift here. Again, I use the word shift instead of change. Shift to what does my body actually need right now? Right here, right now. What does my body actually need? This is where that transformation will begin. So as I mentioned, Does this resonate with you? Do you feel like, yeah, that's me, Monica, you're talking about me all day. This has been me. Or maybe you used to feel like you had it all together and now things are shifting and you're wondering, why do I feel so run down? It's because you don't know the word no. And I get that because that was me. Until you learn that, then it becomes the mentality of, okay, wow, this is the life that was waiting over here for me. All I needed to do was learn to say no. And then if you feel like you're missing out, right, that fear of missing out, FOMO, do we say yes to things? Do you ever say yes? Or do you stay introverted? Do you stay at home? Sometimes if you are in that category, you need to learn the word yes a little bit more. So no and yes, two are the most powerful words that we can learn in life, and when it makes the most sense. All right? So when to pull back. You're exhausted before you even start. Your form is breaking down, and then you feel pain, not effort. That's when I want you to pull back. So I want you to swap intensity for stretching. So we showed you the yoga picture. So instead of the CrossFit, and Pete was talking about the P90X, if you always do push, 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 Pete, I'm sure you learned from Tony Horton, he tells you to incorporate yoga. In fact, one of the hardest workouts a lot of people went through was his 90-minute yoga. And then people thought 90 minutes was too much, so he made a 60-minute one. So you can't constantly, day in and day out, it's not going to be good for you. There might be CrossFit people out there that are like, oh, I can do CrossFit every day. I'm telling you, I can guarantee you that their hurt is coming. So you need a balance of that maybe high-intensity interval training mentality, HIIT. Maybe you do that once or twice a week. Then you incorporate regular traditional strength training. This is my workout fitness side of this Friday. And then you do a little Pilates. You do yoga. You got to incorporate stretching. And I would love for you to get professionally stretched, by the way. If you have not been in yet and you didn't see our show every day, the other day, I should say, Exist Stretch is where I would tell you to do that. Go in. I mean, look, their first stretch is on them. Why would you not do it? They are open. They had the grand opening, 5605 Hampton. And go in and get yourself professionally stretched, because what they do for you is well beyond what you can do. And again, I love the fact that you incorporate yoga. If you are doing that, great, keep doing it. But then just feel it. Go in and ask them to stretch you so you understand what is holding you back in your body. Maybe it's low back pain, maybe it's hip pain, maybe it's glutes or hamstrings or quads, or maybe it's upper back. Whatever it may be, again, that's Trisha. She is a rock star. Have Trisha or one of the other stretch therapists take care of you. So Exist Stretch, they do have two locations. We were at the St. Louis Hills location, 5605 Hampton Avenue. They're open Monday through Friday, 10 to 7, Saturday, 8 to 2. They are closed on Sunday. And then interact with them on social media, at Exist Stretch. So tell me if you have ever been professionally stretched before and how it changed. Maybe you came to our grand opening the other day. So if you're exhausted, again, before you even start, these are the things I want you to be thinking about, and that's when you start to pull back. When you're working out, is your form breaking down? You're going through the motions, you're just getting sloppy. You feel pain, not effort. You actually feel pain. Swap that again for stretching, mobility work, walking, or light movement. Then you pick it back up. So recovery is part of the workout. I hope I can get that into your mindset. So this little takeaway I'm going to give you before we do our devotional: powering through can build strength, but listening to yourself builds sustainability. That's where real transformation lives. Okay? I'm going to say that to you one more time. Powering through can build strength, yes, but listening to yourself builds sustainability, and that is where the real transformation will live. So here's your final engagement questions that I want you to interact with. You might want to marinate on them and say, I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to watch this show again because this one really hit home for me. I'm going to respond to this later, Monica. Or right now, drop your comments in because I see a lot of you that are still on live with me right now. So here's your questions. When was the last time you powered through something and should have? When was the last time you powered through something and should have? Do you wear busy as a badge of honor? And what would it look like to support yourself instead of pushing yourself today? Okay, what would it look like that you actually support yourself? Or you say, no, boundaries, I'm going to stay home, I'm going to take care of myself. Or I'm going to go out and I'm actually going to enter myself into sign myself up for a yoga class. I'm going to do something different that I haven't done that I think I need. Okay, so again, when was the last time you powered through something and actually should have? Because sometimes people need to, instead of just saying, oh my gosh, I probably should have done it. I was being lazy. And again, do you wear busy as a badge of honor and you need to back off a little bit, pull back? What would it look like to support yourself instead of pushing yourself today? So some of the closing thoughts we give to you. You don't need to prove how strong you are by how much you can push. You prove it by knowing when to push and knowing when to pause. So think about those things. If this is you, I want you to help yourself a little bit more. Calm yourself a little bit more. I lit this, and for me, again, you got to find what works for you. For me, it is lighting a candle, it's praying, it's meditating, it's bringing faith into the picture a little bit more, which is why we incorporated it for all of you. We started that Testament Tuesday, and as I mentioned, I'd love to know who you would like for us to have on that show. Stephanie said, I overdid cleaning and my bursitis in my hip acted up yesterday. Taking it slower today. Right, so there you go. There's the balance. You pushed, but now you're smart enough to have the awareness of slowing down. And this is when people are honest and say these things, it's when it helps you. It helps others. You become that leader in the role model mentality of people saying, all right, I just learned. Stephanie said that, and I'm learning from it. So lots of great shows coming up. As I mentioned, our next Mobile Monica in April is at Midwest Thermography. We'll be sitting down with April, by the way, the owner. We have two coming up in May. One of them on May 5th will be at Oak and Front in Washington, Missouri. So start planning for that. And then coming up the following Monday, I believe it's May 11th, we will be at Barrel Blends. That is in the Baldwin area. Looking forward to that as well. And so let us know where you would like our next Mobile Monica to be. Reach out to us. You love Testament Tuesday? Well, good. I'm very glad, and I want to thank Bridget, by the way. So Bridget Childress is one of our newest sponsors. She is the sponsor of Testament Tuesday. She'll be back on with us, by the way, April 7th, and she said her topic that day will be patients' rights and HIPAA, which a lot of people are sometimes confused at all the aspects of HIPAA. She'll be back on with us on April 7th discussing that. And she also is bringing her son-in-law in. She said he has quite a testament of his own to pass along to us. So looking forward to that as well. In the meantime, do me a favor and look up Childress Legal Nurse Consulting, childresslnc.com. She's one of our newest sponsors. And I'm going to be introducing you to another one. Let's tell you what's coming up on Monday. Monday, if you have been a caregiver or you've got parents that are getting older and you're a little worried, you're not going to want to miss Monday's show. We'll be talking with Garden View Care Centers. Now, a lot of you know my mom broke her femur. That's where she was after she got a big mercy. They took care of her. I swear, I can't gush on them anymore. They were amazing. And then we started talking about doing some stuff together. So they are, this is breaking news for you. They are our newest sponsor coming on in April. So if you want to welcome them, I'm sure they would love to feel the love that you all provide, all of those that are part of the show already. We're going to be able to add to this list that I'm going to put on screen for you right now because these are our sponsors that make this show happen. So please support those that support us. JG Optimal Wellness, Spas and More, Slyman Brothers Appliances, Defiance Ridge Vineyards, we were just there last night, Dot Fleshman Realty, she'll be back on with us coming next Friday, and then Bridget Childress, as we just said, Legal Nurse Consulting. Then we'll be adding Garden View Care Centers to that. So do me a favor and just welcome them before they come on Monday. They'd love to see that. Marianne, who is with Garden View, will be with us on Monday morning. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we are going to talk about the dogs and the cats. Care STL, Wang Horak, will be my guest on next week's Testament Tuesday. A true testament to the need for rescues. If we didn't have them, we'd be lost. I mean, all the animals that would be out there. So what goes into the rescue component? You've heard it from Jessica with Yuppie Puppies. Now you're going to hear it a little bit more from Care STL. All right, we're going to wrap up for you with our this is faith, right? So we bring faith in, and today it is Jesus Calling, Enjoying Peace in His Presence, Devotions for Every Day of the Year. This is from Sarah Young on this March 27th. Again, almost getting into April. Crazy weather pattern, right? A lot of you have been up all night because of the crazy storms. So be still in my presence, even though countless tasks clamor for your attention. Well, this is interesting. Nothing is as important as spending time with me. While you wait in my presence, I do my best work within you, transforming you by the renewing of your mind. If you skimp on this time with me, you may plunge headlong into the wrong activities, missing the richness of what I have planned for you. Do not seek me primarily for for what I can give you, remember that I, the giver, am infinitely greater than any gift I might impart to you. Though I delight in blessing my children, I am deeply grieved when my blessings become idols in their hearts. Anything can be an idol if it distracts you from me as your first love. When I am the ultimate desire of your heart, you're safe from the danger of idolatry. As you wait in my presence, enjoy the greatest gift of all, Christ in you, the hope of glory. And again, we have a ton of different devotionals we read from. This is Jesus Calling. Sarah Young, thank you to Marilyn, by the way, for gifting us with that. We have our 100 Days to Freedom books that we read when I'm on set. All right. Love Testament Tuesday, Christy said. Linda, I learned a long time ago how far I can push myself, and that changes the older I get. Stephanie, I hope you have a blessed weekend as well. To each and every one of you, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm going to wrap up just a few minutes early because I want to have you take some time with what we've talked about today and write some thoughts down in your journal. Take some time with God. Take some time to ground yourself. At least here, it stopped raining. You might need to put a mat down or something because it will be wet. But get out in nature, even if it's for a little bit. Take some time for you. What I hope you learned from today is the need to slow down, pause, and reset yourself if you're always in the go, go, go mentality. Time to do a little rest. All right. Hope you have a beautiful weekend. Again, go Cards. They're finally back in action. So if you're a baseball fan, they won yesterday. The Blues won yesterday. So we're on a high from that. I warned again about the protest that will be taking place. So you might want to stay out of the downtown area. It's probably the biggest news that you can use. Until we meet on Monday, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And remember to rest and to be whatever you want in life. Don't let anybody else be in charge of that. But the greatest be you can be is kind. God bless you all. I'll see you Monday.